today's video, we only got the audio version. I couldn't find time to record, the actual video version of the show. But today we're recording the audio version, and you guys are going to hear my Pistons versus Wizards pre-game preview, whatever you would like to refer to it as. Let's get into it. So the Pistons, it will be this Thursday. The Pistons will face the Washington Wizards. Now in the comment section, because I can't really I'm all right, I guess I'm gonna say it. It's this, if you want to watch the game technically illegally, there's a service called crackstreams.com. Somebody in the comment section put a link to it, crackstreams.com, if you want to watch it illegally. I didn't have any issues when I watched the game on there. You could watch it on there. Or if you have money and you want to pay for the legit version, you can watch it on NBA League Pass. So yeah, that's how you watch the game. Now let's get into, the Wizards versus the Pistons, what I'm expecting, what I'm looking forward to. Now the first thing that I want to get into, and I'm very, anticipating this, it will be Killian Hayes versus Russell Westbrook. I cannot wait for this matchup, Killian Hayes versus Russell Westbrook. The first two games for Killian Hayes was a bit rough because on offense, he couldn't really hit a jump shot. His threes wasn't going in, his floaters wasn't going in, and it was really rough for him. The only thing he really did positively was in terms of passing the ball. I really liked his passing ability, but in terms of everything else, his shot wasn't going in. On offense, at least, his shot just wasn't going in. But in the first game, he kept on turning the ball over. It was just a very rough first game. Now, I did like what I've seen on defense from him, and in terms of rebounding as well, he showed prowess there, especially in the second game. I really like what I saw from him on defense, and I cannot wait, and I mean I can't wait for him to go up against Russell Westbrook. This is going to be a great matchup against him. And if you guys don't know, the Pistons' first game in the regular season will be against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So he's going to be playing two straight games against Russell Westbrook, and then he's going to be going up against D'Angelo Russell on the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I just cannot, I cannot wait for that matchup. It's going to be fun to watch. But as far as this one goes, yeah, Russell Westbrook, we all know what he is. All-star, all-NBA player. He led the Oklahoma City Thunder to multiple playoff appearances when he was there. We know what he did in Houston, even though Houston, it didn't work out there. We all know what Russell Westbrook is, and that's going to be a great test for Killian Hayes. Now, the next guy I want to talk about is the man, the myth, the legend, Sekou Doumbouya. And what should we do with Sekou Doumbouya going up against the Washington Wizards? Now, I'm going to give you guys what I think we should do, and then I'm going to give you what I think the team is going to do. Now, I believe that we should give Sekou Doumbouya at least, at the minimum, 20 minutes. He's proved it. In his recent game, he dropped 23 points. In the first game, in 11 minutes, he was efficient. And in the second game as well, he was efficient. So all around, I feel like Sekou, he's earned his minutes. He deserves to play more. And I feel like in this game against Washington, he should get 20 minutes because he's going to be going up against a guy like Davis Bertans, who's a great three-point shooter, and him defending him, I would love to see that. In a couple of places, he's going to be guarding Thomas Bryant and Rui Hachimura. I can't wait to see that matchup as well. And just all in all, I feel like Sekou Doumbouya has earned his minutes, and I want to see what the guy can do. Next guy I want to talk about is Jerami Grant. Now, Jerami Grant in the first two preseason games, absolutely terrible. I'm not here to defend it, at least on offense. On defense, I liked what I saw from him. He was solid on defense. I didn't have any issues with his display on defense, but on offense, his shot selection just bad. He was forcing up shots. Just all in all, his shot selection and when he decided to shoot the ball, Jerami Grant was rough. And even though he did show prowess on defense, what he did on offense was just absolutely pathetic. And he needs to play better because, the regular season is right around the corner. We only got 2 games, and it's going to go by really quickly. We need to see Jerami Grant really pull it together before the regular season starts, because if he's playing bad during the regular season, that's only going to hurt the Pistons' playoff chances. I know that a lot of people want the Pistons to go for the play-in round and see if we can make it in the playoffs that way. If that's the Pistons' hope and goals, then he has to play better because Jerami Grant, 3 years, $60 million. We paid this man a lot of money, a guy who will propel us to the playoffs. And if he can't do that, then unfortunately, I feel like that's just going to hinder us. So Jerami Grant, all in all, he just has to play better. Let's talk about the next guy, Blake Griffin. Absolutely everything that I've seen from Blake Griffin so far, he's 100% healthy, ready to go. I'm absolutely in love with what Blake Griffin is doing right now. If they want to move him at the deadline, we can move him at the deadline. If they want to make a playoff push with Blake Griffin, we can make a playoff push. Just the situation that we have right now with Blake Griffin, him being 100% healthy, it's just great for the Pistons roster all around. Now, Wayne Ellington, next guy I want to talk about. Now, Wayne Ellington, it's weird for me because I like Wayne Ellington, but I feel like a guy like Svi Mykhailiuk and Saben Lee, I wanted them to get more minutes in the preseason than Wayne Ellington. So Wayne, I do like him. I do think we will need him in spots in the regular season, but I do want his minutes lessened a bit. You can spread it out to a guy like Sadiq or Sekou or again Svi Mykhailiuk. So I do want Wayne Ellington minutes to go away a little bit. Next guy I want to talk about is Sadiq Bey. Now Sadiq in preseason game number 1, we all know what he did. It was shocking to most Pistons fans, and I can't wait to see what he does in this game against Washington, game number 3. And on certain plays, with the pick and roll situation, he might guard Westbrook, he might guard Bradley Beal, and I cannot wait to see him go up against those two dynamic scorers, because Sadiq is known as being a 3-and-D player, and if you're a 3-and-D player, I want to see what his defense is going to match up against Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook. Next guy I want to talk about is Josh Jackson. So in game number 1 and game number 2, Josh Jackson, I was a bit, I was disappointed in game number 1 because he didn't really do much, but in game number 2, he hit a couple of threes and he drove to the hole on a couple of plays, and also on defense, he was diving for the ball and all around played solid on defense. So I am looking forward to see what Josh Jackson can do in preseason game number 3 against Washington. Next guy we need to talk about is Saben Lee. Saben Lee showed, he was more, shockingly, he was more prepared, if you want to use that word. Not necessarily prepared. I don't know what word you would use, but Killian Hayes was a bit nervous, a bit jittery in his first 2 games, and Saben Lee just looked more calm and prepared for the situation, and I really like that. And I hope that against Russell Westbrook, I hope that he keeps up that same pace of being calm and ready to go. Next guy we need to talk about is Rodney McGruder. Now Rodney McGruder, he's just got to go. He's just, in my eyes, he's taking up minutes. Now yes, he is a veteran who will help out young guys in the locker room with veteran leadership, helping out a guy like Josh Jackson or helping out a guy like Sadiq Bey obviously will help, but just I feel like he needs to go because I want Svi to get more minutes and playing time. I want Sekou to get more minutes and playing time, and all in all, he's just taking up space. We're gonna run through the roster a bit now. Svi Mykhailiuk, I like his shooting, I like his handle. He did have a rough game in preseason game number 2 because he missed a couple of shots and then he didn't get back in the game, but I still like Svi and I want him to get minutes as well. Jahlil Okafor, if you watch my previous videos, I feel like Jahlil Okafor has slimmed down a lot, and he exceeded all of my expectations so far. I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Jahlil Okafor. Mason Plumlee, again, rough game for number 1, preseason game number 1, but preseason game number 2, he pulled it together a little bit, but I still feel like he needs to, play better, and I feel like he will play better. Next guy we need to talk about is Derrick Rose. Not much to say here. Derrick Rose is what we expect from him. Perfect bench player, perfect, if we want to start him, perfect starting player. Just all in all, Derrick Rose, solid player. Isaiah Stewart, I like the energy and the effort that I got out of Isaiah Stewart, but we've only seen him in the 4th quarter in these games, so I do want to see more of him, and like if he can get in and go up against a guy like Thomas Bryant, I would really love that. And next guy, DeLon Wright, in preseason game number 1, I didn't like that he wasn't aggressive and his shots weren't falling as well. A lot of guys in the roster, were a bit rusty and his shots weren't falling, but him specifically, I felt like he needs to be more aggressive and he needs to hit his shots in this game against Washington. So Pistons fans, I believe I gave y'all a great overview. I have to rush through that because it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm really tired and I need to get these videos edited. But let me know how y'all feel in the comment section below about my recap, or not my recap, my overview for this game. So like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Thank y'all for 1K. I'm out.